this is Jung from Bizkit Corporation. I'd like to buy 10 copying machines. So could you draft me a purchase order of the cheapest model you have? Kim is excited to receive his first big order in weeks. He draws up a quote of 10 copying machines of the cheapest model, applying as much discount as he can, and hastily sends it over to the customer. But after a couple of weeks, he hears that Bizkit Corporation made the purchase from his competitor. What could Kim have done wrong? Hello, I'm Jesse from IGM. Which type of salesperson do you think would have the best-selling record? The good student type, who goes door to door to close a sale? The people-oriented type, who tries to bond and become friends with their customers? Or the butler type, who caters to all the needs of the customers? Unfortunately, it is none of them. According to Matthew Dixon and Brent Adamson, sales experts and the authors of Challenger Sale, the challenger type, who questions the way customers think and teaches them, has the top sales record. Pretty ironic, right? This type of salesperson does not get dragged around by customers and are always in control of the sales pitch. You might label them the doctor type. Instead of just prescribing random medicine, they strive to diagnose the customer's problems and find the optimal solutions. According to a study, the more complicated the business environment becomes, the doctor type becomes more effective in their sales strategies. The B2B sales environment is more complex than B2C, because while you only need to convince the individual customer in B2C sales, B2B involves a variety of interested parties in the transactions. The doctor-type salespeople also prove their worth when it comes to selling high-end goods that are harder to sell than the low-end, cheaper goods. This is because to sell the more expensive products, you need a stronger case to convince the buyer to spend that much more. In fact, 54% of salespeople who had the best results for the toughest deals were doctor types. The other types did not do so well. The good student type at 10%, the butler type at 7%, and the people-oriented type at a very weak 4%. So how exactly do you train your B2B sales force to become doctor-type salespeople? First, don't have your salespeople prematurely send the sales proposal. Train them to understand the various concerns of the interested parties within the customer's company. A proper doctor would first examine the patient as to why his or her stomach hurts. After assessing whether or not the pain is caused by legitimate health problems, only then would a doctor prescribe the medicine. Likewise, a doctor-type salesperson starts off by diagnosing the problems that are particular to each company. For instance, if a customer asks for a quote of 10 copying machines at a low price, as in the situation we saw earlier, the people or butler type will just rush to meet such requirements. But the doctor type would first ask why. Why the 10 copying machines, and what is the reason? Why do they inquire deeper into the subject? It's because of the different buying habits. Where most purchasing managers are interested in buying good products at a low price, as opposed to their co-workers who may pick a machine that best suits their needs. For example, employees who share a single copying machine with other team members might prefer a high-end printer that runs efficiently without mixing up the printouts of the other coworkers. However, the finance team would prefer not to purchase any printers in order to minimize operating costs. Also, there are the IT people who take care of all the electronic devices within the company. Because of this responsibility, they would much prefer to keep the number of printers down to a minimum. What would transpire after drafting a proposal based on only what the purchasing manager had to say? Such a proposal wouldn't make a very appealing case to everyone within the company, which will substantially reduce the chance of closing the deal. In order to establish this kind of deeper understanding of the client's needs, it is imperative that you meet the purchasing manager before drafting the proposal. To do this, it's critical to let the purchasing manager know that you're not just interested in closing the deal. You need to strategically appeal to the purchasing manager that you want to help the person achieve results and be recognized in the company by making better judgments. Now, what should you do next? Show the bigger picture to the person in charge and suggest an optimal solution, such as the following.
Mr. Kim, you said you're interested in purchasing 2 copying machines for each floor, so 10 in total, right?
Yes, that's right.
And you also said if you install a copying machine in each department, your employees would be able to use them more efficiently. If this is the case, I think you need to consider whether buying 10 of the cheapest photocopiers is the best way to go.
What do you mean by that?
If you purchase 10 low-end copying machines that cost $3,000 each, it's going to cost you at least $30,000 in total. Your finance team will want to lower the costs as much as possible, and your IT people will want to minimize the number of devices they want to manage.
So
So I try to come up with a solution to benefit everyone. If you just change the tray setting on your computers, I think it will be more effective to buy 5 or 6 high-end copying machines that cost $4,200 each. This model has the advanced option of automatically separating the printouts from the various teams into separate trays. This way, you can reduce the cost from $30,000 to somewhere around $25,000. It would also mean that the IT team has fewer machines to take care of. This purchasing plan is way more efficient in every aspect.
So, what do you think? As I've said earlier, people prefer and trust the doctor-type salesperson who offers optimal solutions as well as pointing out details that are overlooked even by purchasing managers, as opposed to most salespeople who desperately try at almost anything just to squeeze in one more sale. The doctor-type salesperson is the type who asks questions. By asking questions, doctor types can identify the needs and difficulties of their customers and offer optimal solutions. So don't train your employees to be salespeople who just sell products. Develop them into listeners and into the doctor-type salesperson who sells solutions.